Yeah, I mean, I think it was quite obvious. Just didn't, play up to NBA standards. So, we gave up 41 points in the first quarter. I mean, we put up 40, but you give up 41, you give up 70 and a half. It's just not good enough. So, things just needed to be addressed. I know we talk about it, but I don't think we really understand that it's just not sustainable to play this way. So, I'm glad we won, obviously. It's hard to win this league. We had a tough stretch, a lot of games and all that. And so it's good that we end up getting the win, but we have to understand that it's not just gonna keep happening for us this way, where we find ways at the end where guys miss shots, we get steals, things like that. It's just not gonna always work in our favor. So, and sometimes we're gonna play well and be in close games, but more often than not, if you continue to play this way, it's just gonna be bad losses after bad losses. As far as more so the way we're gonna lose, like last night. Miami, we don't show up to start. By the time we wake up, it's too late. They're too good of a team. They're well organized, they're well coached. They're not just going to let you back into the game. So you have to understand these things.
Thanks. You mentioned it last night. Tonight, you guys weren't happy about the Portland win necessarily. Like, what's been most upsetting about the way you guys have played some of these teams? The defense. Like, what do you sort of point to?
Yeah, I think it's the frustration comes because it's things that we can't really control. There are going to be games where we might play good defense and teams just going to make shots and it's just not going to go our way. But we give up, tons of offensive rebounds in the last 3 games. We're not there to help each other on defense. We don't focus on this scouting part where we say go under on this guy or take away his right hand or things like that. The little details that matter in this game because in this league because they add up. You might take away 2 points here, 2 points there, and total maybe 6 to 8 points a game. But most games are decided within 5, 6 points, and so if you're able to do this, it's a big difference. And so we just don't do those things, and I think we understand that that's the difference between a 500 team or trying to be a better team than that. So hopefully we learn our lesson. I think tonight was a great example when we did start playing a little bit and we started putting up an effort and doing the things we need to do as a team collectively. The result, changed in the fourth. And so, we just have to understand we have to do 40 minutes. We don't have the greats of this league that can just carry us in games like that. It just has to be that effort, otherwise it's not going to work.
And to your point, the way you guys are built has sort of created this margin of error that you guys really can't, you guys have to stick to. I guess, what is that like knowing that it's kind of always on your back as a team that you can only make so many mistakes?
Just how it is, and we have a good team. We have talent. It's just some things you're going to be really good at, some things you're not, and you have the things that you're not as good at. You have to work a little extra hard on them, and that's just part of it. And but we've showed that we can do it, so it's not something that we've never done, and we expect some pressure. I think we have done it, especially in the first couple of games. And the thing is, we want to play fast, we want to run, and the only way for us to do that is to get stops and rebound. If we don't do that, if we keep taking the ball out of the net, it's not going to work. So this is the reality of how this team is built, what we need to do, but it's all things that are controllable. They're not really asking us to do something that we can't do. It's just asking us to be solid and execute the game plan and do the things you just have to do in a basketball to be a good team. Any basketball player at this level should be able to do it, so it's just on us to do it.
Where do you think the disconnect is coming from? Just like the style of play is exhausting, 5 games in 7 nights. Like where do you see that happening?
We did it in the fourth quarter. That's when you're most tired and we're able to do it. So that's not the issue. I just think we lost a little bit of focus on the little things. I think early on it was a big point of emphasis, and we did them, and it was good. I just think we have to get back to it. And sometimes that happens throughout the season. It's a lot of games, not as much time to practice, not as much time to work on these things, and sometimes those little habits get away from you. But that's why we have to be reminded of them. That's why, to me, as a veteran player, it's one of my jobs to do these things. And the coaching staff does, but it is, I think, hard when you don't have the time to really work it, to practice it like we haven't really, especially with a young team. It takes time to build those habits and kind of make sure they have them. So, hopefully we're learning. on this, and I think we will. I think we have guys that are willing to be coached and to understand what needs to be done. It's just the process of getting there. So we have this Thanksgiving in New Orleans, and we have a couple of days, which hopefully we can use to work on some of those habits.
Yeah, it sounds like Billy said you came in and had some words for everybody, obviously in the walk-off. Just with it being such a young team and kind of having the reaction after the game, do you feel like your perspective or your responsibility of what it means to be a veteran in this locker room has changed at all? Like, has your approach to that changed?
But what do you mean as far as
in terms of just like being more vocal or like trying to step up and be the one that kind of like points out attention to detail, things like that?
Yeah, I think so, but I just think I've been in this league for 15 years. I've seen a lot of different situations, and so it's normal when you're a young player. You don't. It's just normal that you don't know all these things, that you're not. You don't always understand what it really takes, and so that's what the veterans are there for, and that's why it's good to have them around and be there with the young guys. So, for sure, I think when I see certain things, I feel comfortable telling the guys. I'm not always the most vocal guy. I don't always talk. Other guys do that for the most part. But when I see something that really needs to be pointed out or that really is hurting us, I try to step up and say it. So just felt like tonight was a good moment to say it. Like I said, we'll take the win. We're happy that we won. It's hard to win this league. We had a tough stretch, so it's good to get this win. But we have to be realistic and we have to address the issues because moving forward is just not going to work if we continue this way.
No problem. Just like I did in Portland, I mean, Vuč in the walk-off interview just really was not very complimentary of the way you guys played. He said you're soft. We didn't defend until the end. I know it's a win, so it's better to talk about stuff like this following a victory. But kind of where are you at with where this team's at? Is it 5 games in 7 days? Is it shorthanded?
I'm happy Vuč, said that. I think he spoke up in the locker room too. I think we certainly all felt that way at the half. Listen, we got guys down, right? And some guys not feeling well, and then coupled with the fact that it's 5 and 7, right? This is what we all signed up for. We all could be doing something else that was probably a lot more difficult than playing 5 games in 7 nights. So. We got a lot more physical, I thought, in the second half. I thought we covered for each other a lot more in the second half. I thought we rebounded better in the second half, but I think to Vuč's point, it's not sustainable to play a half. We've got to do that more. I thought we put our bodies in play a lot more. There was a lot more of a presence at the basket. The hard part for us tonight was maybe, shots weren't falling because it was 5 and 7 and guys' legs were maybe a little bit dead. We generated good looks. We couldn't make a 3, but I thought we ended up winning the game just because I thought we battled in the second half to get ourselves back in the game.
When you get those stops like you did in that final minute, does that kind of show you what you can be when you put your bodies into plays and defend?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, I'm optimistic about the team because I've seen these guys do it, right? These are choices that they have to make. And like I said, like last year, we talked about this last year, we were, had a huge advantage, in transition as a team, a huge advantage. But when that was taken away, whether it had been a half-court defense or half-court offense or whether the game was being played on the glass, it was very, very difficult for us to win. And I've said this before about, our team. We don't have margins like that. And we got very, very fortunate, to win tonight. And we found a way to make enough plays at the end. But I think to Vuč's point, the sustainability of that's not there. And you know what? It's hard. It's really, really hard. But I would say, people can talk about all they want to win. I don't know. I'd like to go to the moon. I have no interest in becoming an astronaut or what it takes to become an astronaut, right? So, if you want to win, there's things that you have to do on a consistent basis, right? And your behaviors have to show that. And we've got to be better in those areas and more physical in those areas more consistently, I think.
Trey took a charge on Livermore in the fourth quarter. He basically went with a game-winning free throws, and they had to steal late. What did it mean to be able to have him on the court late in that game?
Yeah, he's great. I've said this about him. He's a winner. He makes plays. He's really, really smart. Got a really high IQ. I thought he was really good coming down the stretch. Listen, I was really, happy with the way that we competed there in the second half, but we don't have the margins to be able to do that every night. We're going to have to play, I'm not going to say perfect basketball, I don't mean it that way, but we don't have a luxury of, giving up 70 points in the first half like that. We got to be much better than that.
Billy, when you hear the way Vuč is talking about the team, and I think you said he addressed the locker room after the fact? Like, what is central in his message? Is it defense? Is it just general effort? Is it the margins like you're talking about? Like, what do you think he's hitting?
I think it's the things that we talk about as a team, the things, however our identity is on offense and defense, it's the things that we, talk about as a team. That's all it is, in doing those things on a consistent basis, in terms of like helping each other on defense, being there if somebody does need help. If there's a pick and roll and the guy's rolling to the rim, can somebody pull over and be there? I think sometimes when you're dealing with some younger players, they do get to a place mentally of they're so worried about their man scoring, they don't see the play developing in time and understand where the play is going to. So from that perspective, I think it's more about the things that we talk about doing every single day. And listen, Vuč has been great since I've been with him, and I appreciate as a veteran guy standing up. He knows the things that go into winning, and I think the more he can articulate those things to our players, especially to young guys, to understand it, it's important.
And the sort of the volatility of this team. I mean, you talk about the margin. It felt like you guys were doing so much right in the wins against Denver and all these East playoff teams, and then you played, this team close, and you lose to Utah in double OT. Like, do you make anything of that? Like the sort of teams you are playing close, and the teams that you have shown the capability to be.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can say to that is you, at this level, when you play 5 games in 7 nights, right? Opponents, the other team, that cannot be any level of inspiration. You have to be internally motivated, in my opinion, because there's going to be nights where you're sore, you're tired, and just the human nature part of making excuses. Like, a lot of guys are like, man, I'm tired. It's been 5 and 7, and I'm probably beat up. They probably all are. I mean, it's just the way the schedule is, and I'm not making excuses for them, but they have to mentally overcome that, and fight through it. And I thought we did. And like I gave our guys credit from this standpoint. I thought we could not make a shot tonight on a consistent basis. We've shot the ball very well. And we tried to do other things to get back into the game because putting the ball in the basket wasn't going well.
I know it was short, but what did you think of Noah's first couple of minutes out there?
I mean, it was fine. It was fine. I mean, he got caught on a back screen one time. They needed to switch. He didn't. I'd like to see him get his motor going a little bit more personally. But I think when he was out there, it was fine. I was happy I could throw him in there for a few minutes. And I knew we were probably going to have to use a lot of guys in that first half, being 5 and 7. But I think in the second half we kind of kept it to 9 or 10, and he just was not quite in rotation here in the second half.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
You good? Yeah. Noah, what was it like to get your first NBA minutes?
That was nice, honestly. Getting on the court was like my teammate since I worked since 2-3 months now. That was really cool.
How do you think? I mean, you're only out there for a little bit, but was it? Did you have any nerves, or were you kind of ready for the moment?
No, I was just enjoy. I know I don't get a lot of time, so I just try to enjoy every moment.
What's it sort of been like for you? Kind of all this waiting, going back and forth between the G League. What has the balance been like for you? Trying to stay ready for a game like tonight.
I think that's pretty cool to just go back and forth with the game, like you say. That just help me to stay ready, like you say, for the game, and also help me to get some reps. Just a lot of playing time, different type of role in the team. I got more responsibility in the G League, so that's pretty cool.
What kind of feedback have you been getting on your last 2 G League performances?
I say that's pretty cool. They say that I do a good job defensively and offensively. They say I always can do better, more active on the ball. So that's my choice.
Kind of the last 48 hours been going from doing a G League game and then getting back in with the first team. Just kind of what is that process like?
That was a lot to travel, but that's really cool to just like I say, can play and also at the same time be with the NBA, see how the real love it going on.
What kind of stuck out to you about pace of play, just anything about kind of those NBA minutes? I know it wasn't.
I think that's pretty much the same. In the G League, they run crazy. Both team, our team and the opponent just run a lot, shoot a lot of three. But I think we do a good job to just keep fighting back until when we're done. And I think we go back with the wins. So that's the most fun.
The thing that Billy has mentioned as far as what your next step is just adding strength, sort of getting used to NBA strength. I know that's maybe a tough thing to do in season, but what's sort of been the plan as far as you adding strength in the season?
Just try to hit a lot and do the most weight as possible, like before the game, after the game. Yeah, that's my plan right now.
What's the diet like?
I mean, before the game, I try to do like 30 minutes lift, and after the game, pretty much the same. And yeah, I got a chef like cook for me. I forgot like calories on me, so that's the plan right now.
Who are some teammates who have been kind of helping you through this process?
I would say Manas. I talk a lot with Manas, also Trey. That's also the guy I talk a lot to.
And who's your players on the coach that's been mostly working with you?
I was like a lot with LG, Austin, and JB. I would say that's the true guy I work a lot more.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.